Rekha is the head of product at Amazon, and she currently leads global teams of both technical and non-technical product and program leaders. Welcome, Rekha.
Thank you, Shakrita. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone joining. It's a pleasure to be here joining amongst you and sharing my personal journey about how I went on to becoming a product leader from an engineering background. And just a quick mention, I'm happy to take questions towards the end. I'll try to keep this making sure like we have some time for Q&A. So happy to answer any questions or any follow-up you may have for me at the end. So let's get into it, right? Before we dive further, a little bit about me. So as Sukrita mentioned, I currently head product teams at Amazon. And prior Amazon, I have experiences working at various Fortune 500 companies, not mentioning every single company out there. But you can see that out on the screen, coming from various B2C, B2B backgrounds, and also kind of going back years in consulting and being in the engineering space. So I've been in tech close to 2 decades now. Right. And I started my journey as an engineer. And right now I'm here in front of you as a product manager, product leader, leading charter of products at Amazon. Bit of my story. I always like to start this, so that it's personal, right? And you're all able to connect to it. Like, how did this even happen for me personally? I'm a software engineer, by profession when I started my career, right? And I was a computer science undergrad. I did my undergrad in India. I never wanted to become a software engineer, just so you all know. And it happened that my parents wanted me to be an engineer. So it all happened. And there you go. I landed in a job of software engineer. I tried to fit myself into the engineering realm of things, right? Like learning how to code, how to do things, right? How do you make sure you understand the problem statement to be able to do your coding? And a lot of times when I did that, it was more for in the box, right? Like you are in this box where you are constantly making sure my code runs, right? I can test it, I can deliver it. Now, here comes the journey in my career where I had an opportunity to move from India to US. And when I moved cross countries, I was moving in the role of consulting. And when I was a consultant, I think that was an eye-opening exercise for me. And I had an opportunity to work for Fortune 500 different retailers in US, right? So I would go there, I would really sit with the customers, and I'll start understanding all these problems they are facing. It was not just about how my code is working, but it's truly understanding how that customer looks through, like, what you deliver to them. Is it really solving their problem? And that kind of prompted me to think through, like, okay, wow, there is so much problem out there, and you can do so much with like the technology out there. And I'm talking all this like, think of like a decade ago where product management was not even a kind of a whole vetted function in itself, right? Maybe we would have heard of system analysts, business analysts. There were tons of quite of that role, but not truly like what a product would be. And that's when I started kind of investing in myself. And this was a stretch goal for me, right? Like I said, okay, hey, I'm seeing all these customers and no, I'm doing all this. But how do I start really building things, right? How do I really solve for some of these problems based on all the knowledge that I have, my different learnings? And I started doing some of the side projects at that time on my own. And from there, right, I really worked hard towards kind of finding that breakthrough opportunity with Walmart when I moved back then and ended up being a product manager. I should definitely say that in that journey, I've had mentors, and mentors were someone like who didn't know me, right? Like I didn't had them when I was back in India, and when I moved here, like I did find mentors, and they were male mentors, right, who were very supportive of me, right? And they wanted me to make sure that I understand what product management is, right? And there was tons of that understanding and hard work. And I would also say the time that I spent in to really understand what goes into it. So one thing that I would tell all of you is product management, getting into it is very much possible. Are there no downfalls to it? Yes, like no. If you think about it, like any profession, any function, anytime you try to do new things, right? There will be downsizing, like right. There will be things around like no, hey, okay, am I in the right trajectory, right? Like okay, is this a downfall? I even had someone who told me, hey, you are in the upward trajectory for engineering. Like why do you want to move to product, right? You may see that downward trending in you, right? And I was like, I'm okay to take those risks. So the moral of the story is, right, yes, it is doable, right? It is definitely coming with a lot of the skills that you need to build, the traits that you will need to build, the hard work that you need to put in. So in the next couple of minutes, I'll share with you, what are some of the things I did, and what are some of the things I see now, because I did this years ago. And what do I see now in the industry happening that could probably help anyone here who are trying to break through into product? So start with the purpose, right? I love the slide. For the reason I say this is, I'm sure it's not like a complicated one, right? Where are you heading to? So anyone who is trying to break through, I would ask you to assess the purpose of it. Why do you want to become a product, right? I've had people tell me, oh, I want to become a product because it makes me, get that managerial title. I want to become a product because I can decide everything. No, absolutely not. All right. So there needs to be a cost behind it, right? Make sure you love what you do. Make sure you know why you want to be a product manager. We are all here right now. We are in different functions, right? Like one could be an engineer, I could be a product manager, someone here could be a analyst. But I'm pretty sure all of you in your journey are trying to solve for that customer problem, right? But it's a different function. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is impacting a human's life, right? At somewhere in some part of the world, right? So I would really ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of me being doing it? Why I'm wanting to be a product manager? And carve out that roadmap for yourself, right? Put a time in front of you to say, hey, I will set like 12 months for me and work backwards to be able to get to where I want to be. So purpose is the very first key that I did for myself, and I would highly encourage all of you to do as well. From there, let's switch to a little bit of the skills, right? When I think of product management, right, and I'm sure it's overwhelming out in the market and in the industry, right? There are tons of skills that one needs to groom themselves into. And I would say some of them comes naturally with the transition of the functions you have been in, and some of them you will have to probably groom into. And it's a mix of soft skills and hard skill, right? If you really see some of them that catches my eye out of this cloud here, bubble here, customer centricity, right? Growth mindset. I would definitely tell you that no, there could be pitfalls. There could be like no, you feeling that, oh, am I in the right trajectory or not? But building that growth mindset, right? Starting with the customer, right? Improving your, how you communicate, practice your storytelling, right? Own things, right? Open to fail, right? Learn how do you build empathy. We all do that in our day-to-day life. I'm sure all of you out here are customers in some way, right? There are services that you use in the industry. There are products that you use in the industry. Play around it, right? Practice it. And you can tell a lot more like, oh, wow, there is a problem out there. Like if I was to solve this, how would I go about it, right? So definitely there is that grooming of skills that I encourage each one of you to kind of build. And it's okay if you don't have it, but it's not something that you cannot do. All I'm saying is like these are the skills, and there is a lot more. But these are some of the things that have worked for me very well personally, and I would encourage all of you to practice even in your current function as you groom into product management. So where to start, right? Like we talked about skills, all right? I talked about my story. So where do I really start, right? Resume. And this is very, very important, I would say. Like in my career, like, as I mentor a lot of, young girls, women's, I have also have like male mentees. A lot of time people come to me with resumes that are like 6-7 page longer. Like I would really challenge you, right? Go back, right? Be a critic for yourself, right? Review your resumes, right? Position your resume to be more value centric. Position your resume to be more outcome centric. Yes, you may ask me, hey, I'm an engineer. How do I do that, right? And I'll tell you, like, as an engineer, maybe you are building a piece of code that's really going behind solving a customer problem. I'm sure like there is a goal that's tied to why that problem is important for the customer. And maybe it's driving like some improvement. Maybe it's about like improving the performance. performance of like how their systems work, or it's about improving, like in driving incremental revenue, right? Saving costs, anything, right? So how do you make your resume positioning in more in an outcome value centric way, right? I think that would be a very, very key element, right? Networking. Unlike the times I was in, I think there are tons of opportunities now for you to network, right? Elevate, as you see here, we're all here, right? And it's a good forum for you to kind of network with others, learn from others, right? Like, and be vocal about what you want to do. There is no shame in it, right? If you want to do it, be vocal about it, right? So I would definitely encourage you all to use a lot of these free forums, workshops, meetups, right? There are a lot of product sessions that are happening, all over like LinkedIn, and if you look through like Eventbrite, you'll find tons of that. It does need time, so I would encourage you. Nobody's going to come and tell you go do this. I would rather ask you to go and really lead the show. Building your brand, right? I'll come to the board of directors, right? It's something new that I have discovered in, I would say, a year or two now. Your brand, right? LinkedIn, I'm sure you all are on LinkedIn for most of you, but there are a lot of such platforms now out there, which was not there while the time I was there. I think probably LinkedIn was the only one while I was there. But there are tons of accelerator programs. There are tons of platforms. Even creating your own blog, right? Positioning how your portfolio is a good way to showcase like who you are and why you exist and what's your motto and vision behind getting into product. Last but not the least, personal board of directors. This is a very recent one, I would say, and it's kind of I would say an intersection between having a mentor versus coach and also a sponsor, right? And there are definitely new platforms that are upcoming, and I'm happy to share if anybody wants to connect offline. But there are tons of board of directors that are coming up where you have this little cohort of different leaders from different industries, experiences, and I have seen this working for a lot of people to crack into product management, because that's a forum that makes you feel safe and you can talk through like, no, hey, these are the things I want to do, what opportunities you have. You do get access to mentors and coaches and even sponsors at some point in time. So we talked about where to start. So how to navigate this, right? I'm not going to go through every single one in the interest of time. But for me, what has worked, I would say number 1 and 2. I kind of did this, like obviously I moved it from of engineering to consulting into product within the same organization, right? And it's the best way. I know a lot of people try to figure out like, hey, I'm an engineer, how do I make this happen, right? So that exploration in your own organization is the best way to go. I'm not saying you cannot do it with cross organizations, you can, but it does comes with its own time and work and you building your network, a lot of things we chatted about. But within your organization is something a best place to start with. Right. And sometimes you have to do the number 4 and 5, right? Job shadowing, role play, right? And it's a stretch goal for you. So you are probably doing full-time role and then you say, hey, I want to role play someone, right? I want to do a job shadow, because that'll tell you like, is this the right job for you, right? Your purpose and what you see, do they really match? So definitely tap on that if possible. Leveraging your domain expertise is another one that I wanted to really touch on. Like for me, I was in retail, right? So I gained tons of knowledge being in the retail. I've built tons of products as an engineer, as an architect, as a consultant. I think that really helped me when I was trying to really crack into product management, because I tried to be in the same domain for various reasons, because I thought like I do have that domain knowledge. So what does it take for me to build those skills to be able to operate? And there were things that I had to unlearn and learn, right? Because as an engineer, I always had a tendency to jump into solutioning. So how do I take a step back and swim in the problem space, right? Swim in why and what, and reduce my time in the how space. Not to say you reduce, but how do you give the opportunities to others who really have to be in that space to be? Other things, yes, internships. I would also tell you, like, if you're able to take junior roles, beginner roles, do go for it, right? Sometimes, like, I've seen people in a senior role as engineers, and they say, hey, I will always take parallel roles. It's okay, I would say, and it is all for good, right? It's not a bad idea. If you find opportunities and if you're really desperate and you have a purpose behind it, make sure that you are able to take on those junior roles, beginner roles, and go through it. And I would say upskill yourself, right? And what does that mean? I'll touch on it quickly on the next slide. But upskill is something like Now, how do I really get hands-on on some of the things, right? Are there opportunities in your workplace where you can support a product manager to say, hey, can I help you with an experimentation, right? Oh, can I help you write a requirement document, right? And this is again something based on for every individual interest, but there are various ways how you can upskill, right? Like, I mean, there are tons of books out there. There are tons of training courses there. They are not mandate, I would tell you that. But it's always a good idea to constantly upskill yourself. And this is a very interesting slide that I thought I should bring it in front of everyone here, right? I have seen tons of myths out there, right, which has been like a fear, like, can I be getting into product, right? Can I really get into this, right? And some of the myths that I've had, I need to have an MBA to be a product. I need to have a tech background to be a product. Absolutely no, in my experience. Yes, these are the things that'll eventually elevate you, but are they absolute necessary for you to get into product? Not really. Is product management all about new products? Not really. Sometimes you come and no, you just rebrand, design, rediscover things, right? So something out there can also be totally relooked or revisited upon in a very holistic way. So it's also not always about new products. Is the role same, right? Like, is product manager is equal to project manager is equal to program manager? I think there is a lot of that going on in the market today. But I would definitely encourage all of you to spend the time to really understand the role. Is product manager only the idea generators? Not necessarily. Good ideas can come from anybody, right? So how can you be the person who can rally along the team to get to that goal? Sometimes it's about execution, sometimes it's about strategy, sometimes it's a blend of both, right? So it's not necessarily always about idea generators. And the last point that I want to touch upon is, hey, is product manager all about like managing people? No. So there are individual contributor roles. There are product leader roles who manage a team of product managers leading product charters, right? So these are definitely some of the myths. I have also seen them while I was trying to get through into product. And I'll be honest with you, I have worked through every single thing. I do have an MBA, but I didn't have MBA when I got into product. It has definitely helped me elevate where I am today, but it was not the core reason why I am into the product. I did have technical background, that was a plus, but is it the must have? No, I've seen people come from marketing, people come from like even like different hospitality industries. I've had seen people, I know someone who has been in the nurse and veterans, and they have come into product management, right? So there is no block to what you can get into product for, right? There is so much out there, right? And be open to risk, be open to fail, and you can go. It may not look fancy in the first get-go, but I can tell you it is possible, it is doable. So I wish everyone out here a very good luck. And with that,
Hi, this talk was absolutely wonderful. People are posting their comments in the chat about various things that you touched upon. I think we're close to time, so why don't we wrap here? I thank you so much for your time. Bye, everyone.
thank you everyone. Bye-bye.